Hello, everybody. I know there's only one other person in at the moment. Hopefully, we'll get some more people in as we get some more likes and shares up there, and as the notifications get out a bit. Hopefully you're having a good day today. So, if you want to share, because we're gonna wait a few minutes to see if when see who see if we can get some more people in before I start. I do have four stories to go through tonight, so and if you've been around a while, you probably have noticed I've got a new haircut. So um, I every now and again will shave my head like this to try to keep things cool. More I think more practically than style wise. So hopefully, you hopefully everything's going well with you though. Um, yeah, so I said just waiting for some more people to come in before we get started. Don't be shy. Feel free to ask anything or talk about anything until we get a few more people in here. Hey Woody, what would Woody do? Back in Lex Luthor. No, no, no. I do this every once in a while, Woody. Where where basically I'll shave my head, particularly if it's warm or whatever, kind of shave my head. It's more of a practicality thing. It's like I'll sit there and I'll let my hair grow out, and then when it gets to the point where I get tired of eating my hair as I'm trying to eat my food, or it gets a little too hot for my head, I'll just have it go shoo 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 shoo. So uh, I mean, I used to do the same thing back well in my life. Yeah, well, Woody, aren't you? Well, no, I won't go there. Um, I'll put it this way. I know my dad has been envious over the years of my hair because my hair does tend to grow up pretty thick most of the time. Grows pretty thick and pretty fast. So I'm probably the envy of a lot of guys out there. They used to have that hair cutting attachment you attach to the vacuum cleaner. Where'd you see that on a Looney Tunes cartoon or something like that? There, Woody. Hey, and oh my God, what happened to your hair? Well, what happened to my hair is I got it chopped off. I just felt like it was that time there, Pickle. You know, and I know this is probably the first time you guys have probably. I think for the most part, this is probably the first time you guys have seen me with this do, and I know when more people come on here, they're going to they're going to be going like, "Whoa, what happened?" Because they haven't seen it before. But this is what I do every once in a while. As I said, when either it gets a little too hot or you know when either it gets a little too hot or I just simply get tired of eating my own hair. Then it's just time to chop it all off. Anyways, excuse me for a moment, guys. Sorry, I gotta go off camera here for just a sec. All right, I'm back. Let's see. Flow B old TV infomercial. Oh, okay. Never heard of that one before, but what have you? Yeah. So how'd your guys' day go today? You obviously saw what I did with some of the time I had today. So what about you guys? What you guys have anything exciting happen today or anything of the like? I have you playing in the background, so I won't be able to type while I'm okay. So at least you're listening in then, so that's good. And thank you guys for the likes and shares as well. That helps. Trying to see if we can try to get some more people in here. Um, it's like tell your friends. Uh, uh yeah. So again, how'd your guys' day go today? Again, I asked anything exciting happen. Obviously, Pickle's picking up after his animals. So, um, what about you, Woody? Anything exciting happen today with you? What would Woody do back in '62? Driving classic cars, drinking in the bars, playing all the games, picking up the dames. What would Woody do? What would Woody do back in '62? Excuse me for one moment. Again, sorry. Mm. Mm. Let's see now. Yeah, everybody shout! Come on, let's hang out. It's time for the groovies get together. You're gonna be how funny they you're gonna see how funny they can be. Well, it's time for the groovy ghoulie show. Do 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 do. Okay, let's see. We're just past 9 minutes. Guess I'll get since I got a couple of you in here. I guess I'll get started at the 10-minute mark here. Excuse me one more time. Sorry. Okay, so let's see. 9:30 mark here. Okay, all right, so I'm gonna get going here. So what's on tap for tonight? Well, what I will tell you is this: we got like four stories tonight, all from the area TV, including some news on Marvel's casting of Oscar Isaac as Moon Knight. um, for that series. They first look at Kieran Walters as Red Hood in Titans, a new teaser trailer for the Netflix anime Godzilla Singular Point, and there's a rumor out there that HBO Max is trying to get Gal Gadot for the Wonder Girl spinoff of Titans. So, considering Wonder Girl was also in a Wonder Woman movie as well recently, um, that's all going to be very interesting. So let's see now. With that being said, I guess we'll get started then. Let's see now. Of course, you see the first headline there that we're going to be looking at. Bring up the article here. Now, just in case you guys didn't know, Moon Knight was a hero that debuted in Marvel Comics, from what I understand, back in 1975. I believe he got his own series in 1980. So here's the headline: Marvel's rumored casting of Oscar Isaac as Moon Knight sparks fan backlash against race swapping of Jewish hero. Uh, with recent rumors indicating that Oscar Isaac is in talks to don the mantle of the Khonshu's Fist of Khonshu's as Moon Knight in the upcoming Disney Plus series. Okay, Disney Plus, my mistake. Um, Fans have taken to social media to voice their opposition to the character's potential race bending. I previewed this story earlier, by the way, and I do have some interesting commentary on here. I know a lot of you. I have a feeling I know where a lot of you are gonna think this is going with it. And I think on the surface, I'd be in agreement with you. Anyways, Marvel's interest in Isaac was first reported by Deadline, who announced that they had heard Isaac is in negotiations to star as a title character in Moon Knight. Um, the Marvel and Disney Plus series, based on the comic book hero, the series development will be helmed by Jeremy Slater, who previously adapted Gerard Gerard Way's The Umbrella Academy for Netflix. I'm surprised they didn't get Tug involved in that one to star as the Umbrella in the Umbrella Company. And wrote the screenplays for Josh Trank's Fantastic Four and Netflix's Death Note. First introduced in Werewolf by Night in 1975, Moon Knight is the vigilante alter ego of Mark Spector, a former mercenary who was betrayed by his team during an expedition, but revived by the ancient Egyptian god of the moon, Khonshu, in exchange for his services to the deity. And I guess here's some of the artwork from that. Uh, yeah, so my name is Moon Knight, the Fist of Khonshu, Earth's mightiest hero, Earth's last hope against the devil. Well done, my fist. Khonshu. It approves. Now we can save the world. Khonshu looks kind of like a skeletal bird there, it would seem. Though he possesses no inherent superpowers of his own, Moon Knight possesses a peak human physique and is an expert in a variety of skills, including martial arts, weapons combat, and detective abilities, which, alongside his all white suit, has led regular comparisons being drawn between him and DC's Batman. Batman clad in black and Moon Knight clad in white. Okay. Um, One particularly prominent and important aspect of Moon Knight's character, aside from multiple personalities presented by his dissociative identity order, is his Jewish heritage. In Moon Knight number 37, 1984, Spectre recalls that his parents came to America just after Hitler's goose steppers turned Czechoslovakia into a German puppet during World War II, and that his father was an ordained rabbi who went on to become a brilliant scholar in the Kabbalah, Jewish mysticism. In America, he was lucky just to be alive, Spector observed in the issue. I guess here are some of the um, some of the prints from that issue. His heritage has since been referenced numerous times, most recently in Max Bemis's 2018 run on the character, which further explored the character's relationship with Jewish culture. See some of that right here. I guess this is from the 2018 Max Bemis run right here. Let's see if you guys have anything to say on this thus far. No, it doesn't look like anything new yet. Oh, we do have. Oh, okay. No, we still have three view. I thought for a moment there it looked like we may have had five. ah, uh, Wishful thinking, I guess. Anyways, continuing on here. However, following this announcement by Deadline, fans took to social media to speak out against the casting of the former Star Wars and X Men Apocalypse star out of fear that the character's blatant race swapping would erase Moon Knight's Jewish heritage. Moon Knight cannot be explored without attention to his Judaism and his father's Judaism and his father's story as a refugee from anti Semitism, said Twitter user Idsvits. Well, I can't even. Idsvit, Idsvits. Idsby. A first generation Jewish immigrant shouldn't be played by a goyish, a Yiddish term for non Jewish people, person. I think that a non Jewish term Yiddish, I think that part was added by the writer of the article here, kind of help people understand what that means. Dabitol Ratisu, referencing how Magneto and his children aren't played by Jewish actors in various films, stated that they were pretty upset at the lack of representation. Um, F you, Marvel. They concluded. Yeah, but in this case, okay, I only knew that Magneto had a Jewish background because from the '90s um, X-Men cartoon. I didn't even in his appearances before that. It wasn't probably talked about much, or in any of Wanda or Pietro's portrayals were their Jewish history. Um, at least from what little I could, from what even little I was reading earlier when I pre-read this article earlier, I think there is a bit of a difference between the situation with Moon Knight and with Magneto and his kids. Um, Obviously, as part of part of the continuity, they did make more of a they did play up more of Moon Knight / Mark Spector's Jewish heritage, whereas as I understand it, because again, I actually didn't have, I haven't gotten into reading the Marvel comics as much, as I did with the DCU, with the DC comic stuff. But as I understand it, I think after his experiences in World War II, or after Magneto became more of an agnostic Jew. So I don't know if I know this. A lot of this is about casting people in the live action version. And we've talked before about the and again, voice acting and live action are obviously different things. For voice acting, I don't think it really matters much. Live action, maybe depending upon whether or not, like I think in the case of Moon Knight, I under normal circumstances, I under most circumstances, I would say it shouldn't really matter because they're acting. But I could also, in this particular case, see why people are kind of complaining about this, because in this particular case, Moon Knight's Jewish heritage is a big part of who his character is. Okay. Whereas when we talked about it before with the voice actors and stuff like that, yes, I know, like, for example, on King of the Hill, for example, yeah, the character Cleveland Brown, who happens to be black. And we've talked about the whole Hank Azaria voicing Apu, but nobody really, I don't think nobody really, when it comes to voicing, I don't really think anybody cares in those situations. But in this case, um, I think there is a little bit more, you know, yeah, I'm not gonna. In other words, I'm not gonna necessarily jump down the throats of those who are planning on this one, because in this case, with it being a live action series, and since the oh wow, we're down to two people again. Oh, that's sad. I wonder who I lost. Was it Woody, or was it Pickle that I lost? Oh, I'll keep going anyways. Hopefully, I don't lose you guys altogether. That suck. But as I was saying, though, getting back to my commentary on this, I don't really think is in this case, because I think in this case his Jewish heritage is a major part of the story, and so I could see why people would think it would be more appropriate to have a Jewish actor in this case portraying a Jewish character, because of the fact it's much more a bigger part of the story. So, anyways, user Fangirls Mash was particularly livid, stating, absolutely effing not, and declaring, it is not a good look for you to not cast a Jewish actor for Moon Knight for the, and I get her point here too. For the only, granted, I think she didn't need to use the F word as much, but that's just my own thing. For the only explicitly Jewish character that you have in the MCU, F no. So Oh, hey, Dave. I see you're here. Just got in another character whose heritage is important to his character is Eric Lensher, spelling Magneto. Yeah, but as I understood it, Dave, and you can correct if you've actually read more Marvel comics than I have. You can correct me if I'm wrong in this because I personally did not even know Magneto was Jewish until the '90s X-Men cartoon. Okay, that's the only time they had referenced Magneto being Magneto or his kid. In fact, I didn't even know they were didn't know they were his kids until the '90s animated series. But Pietro and but you know aside from the fact that, as I understood it, Magneto became an agnostic Jew after what he suffered at the hands of the Nazis. Now you can correct me if I'm wrong, or you can explain why. Like in Moon Knight here, I can see a little based on what I'm reading here, and see where because his they obviously do make a big deal about his Jewish heritage is a major part of his story. But as far as I know, again, now and again, I'll preface this by saying I haven't read as many Marvel comics as I have DC. I have seen a lot of the cartoons, particularly the X-Men series of the '90s. But that's just me. Oh shit, Mike, what happened uh, to your frock? I chopped it off. It was time. That's what happened to my frock there, Dave. I chopped it off. You might want to make sure you share this and get the word out if you want people to see this. See me with my head shaved. Hey, come to Mike's stream. He's got his head shaved. Uh, not me. Anyways, just give me a sec, guys. I gotta go off. All right, I'm back now. Anyway, so okay, okay. Well, I'm saying his experiences under Nazi oppression had a direct effect on his views of humanity in general. He doesn't even realize how much of a Nazi he's become with his whole mutant superiority. Yeah, I mean, now that point, that you make a very valid point there, David. That's you know, it's kind of in a way that almost sounds kind of similar to what's going on even in today's society with a lot of these SJWs. The way they're, it's kind of like as I often have said, they are becoming the very evil they are decrying. They are becoming the very evil that they are decrying. You make a very good point there, though, Dave, about Magneto. Because the thing is, though, but then that's a lot. You can say that about anybody who was possibly raised in the church and then became disillusioned with it too, with any kind of religion, whether it's Christianity, Judaism, you know, Muslim, Hindu, Buddhist, whatever, thing. It's about that time for me to but I'm balding. Your hair was fine. Well, it was fine with the exception of the fact that, you know, here in Southern California, it can get pretty hot even in the winter months, for one thing. And for another, after a while, I kind of, you kind of get a little tired of eating your own hair as you're trying to eat your food. you know, this is just something I do every about 3 or 4 times a year. Maybe as many as six. But when basically when they start getting a little too long, too bushy, I just take it all off. And don't forget to, if you haven't already, don't forget to share the stream so that people can come and look at my bald head and make and have the oh my god reactions. uh, you know, um, yeah, I do appreciate it if you guys could like and share the stream, if possible, to where we can see if we can get some more people in. So, anyways, back to the article though, unless there's anything more to be said. It doesn't look like it for now, so we'll continue on here. Anyways, um, best case scenario, um, the MCU continues its Gentiles play Jewish characters, Jews play Gentiles pattern. Speculated spoolophiles, but more likely they'll erase the fact that Moon Knight's dad is a rabbi because it's unimportant. Just like Wanda and Pietro's Judaism was unimportant. Right, Marvel? Um, again, it depends upon. Okay, but then was again in the here's what I would ask. In the comics, again, those of you who actually read Marvel comics would probably know this more than I would. Okay, I haven't actually read I've read DC comics, but I haven't read um Marvel comics. Um was in the comics, did they make, like, as I understand, this is what I stated earlier too. This is my understanding of the situation, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. And I know Dave, you made the point about um, Magneto's treatment in the Nazi oppression situation. Um, but here's a couple. Here's at least a couple of factors in regards to Wanda and Pietro. One, they were not raised by, as I understand, they were not raised by their father. They were they were actually raised out in the world, and nobody knew that they were Jewish. Okay, they probably didn't even know they were Jewish until much later in their lives, as I understand it. Okay, so it's not like they were raised in a Jewish family. So the point of them minimizing their Jewish heritage, well, one thing I do know about Judaism is that family and passing down tradition is a very big thing in that culture. Okay. But Wanda and Pietro were, as I understand it, were not necessarily raised in that culture. So now, those of you who have actually read, but you know, those of you who've read the Marvel comics probably know better than I would what the situation, um, being that. Oh my gods, I do the exact same routine. Oh, when it comes to hair, you mean? When it starts getting to the point where it gets a little too cumbersome, you just chop it all off like I do. Yeah. Anyways, back to the article. Let's see. Spider-Verse announced that they were taking back my tweet celebrating Oscar Isaac's casting as Moon Knight because I just found out Moon Knight is Jewish and demanded that Marvel do better. According to various profiles and interviews, Isaac was born in Guatemala to a Cuban father and a Guatemalan mother, and was raised as an evangelical Protestant. His last name Isaac, which by the way is a Jewish name, just to just to remind people of that, Isaac is an actual Jewish name. You may remember Isaac, the son of Abraham and the father of Jacob and Esau. So, is actually his middle name, which the actor stated he chose to use in place of his real name, his real last name, Hernandez Estrada, in order to broaden the range of roles offered to him by casting directors. In his profile for the 2014 Golden Globe Awards, Isaac revealed that his middle name, Jewish from my father's side. So apparently, maybe he is part Jewish. Maybe he is part Jewish. Um, though he has not publicly detailed the extent to which his family is related to ethnic Jews. Well, he just simply acknowledged right there that he is part Jewish. Now, he may be an agnostic Jew or a non practicing Jew, but I think he clearly states right there that his lineage is somewhat Jewish. You know, he just may not necessarily be a practicing in that particular cut in those particular customs. So we have 5 people in here now. Yay, 5 people. Hello, fifth person. We're getting more people in here, and I'm sure you're all shocked at my appearance. I did get around to finally, taking the as Dave called it, the frock off. You know, I guess that's another way of putting that statement. Another way of saying "f off," right? Frock off, baby. No, I'm not telling any of you to frock off or any variation of that. I'm just having a good old time with words there. I really do appreciate you all coming in and sharing this time and getting into some of these articles and stuff like that and looking into comics, whether they be today or yesterday. So, anyways, let's get back to the article here. Despite this massive wave of backlash against the casting, Isaac's rumored involvement was not without its defenders. Spider-Man and Magneto are Jewish, but nobody complained about Tom Holland or Michael Fassbender not being Jewish. Noted Run the Fools for Peter Parker is Jewish? That's actually news to me. This is the first I've heard of that. But then again, if any of you have ever grown up watching any of the Marvel Comics cartoons, Spider-Man back in the 60s or the Spider-Man cartoons of the 80s or even Spider-Man the animated series of the 90s, it was never mentioned that he was Jewish. Now, Grant, I know there are other people who portrayed Spider-Man too. There's the whole Scarlet Spider of Ben Riley and all that. But anyways, Brock, you yeah. We will frock you. We will frock you. Right, Dave? Anyways, excuse me for a moment, guys. I just gotta stay. And I'm back. I don't care if an actual Jew plays a Jew on screen. Just like I don't care if an actual lesbian plays a lesbian. This is all some weird racist typecasting stuff. Yeah, I mean, again, I think overall it shouldn't really matter because the whole point is you're acting. You're acting. You're portraying a character. In the end, it shouldn't really matter if the person. I mean, I think yes, it does help because obviously a Jewish actor would know better than a Jewish actor would know better than a non-Jewish actor, what the customs and culture of the Jewish culture are, and would have better understanding of just how to portray it. But in the end, I would agree with you there on the just the simple fact that it shouldn't really matter if the person is or is, if a person playing a character is or isn't, like the character. Oy vey, it's your friendly neighborhood Goyim. Hey Hinamoto, how you doing? Do people forget that actors can play roles? What does what does there have to be an exact match of this or that? Why does there have to be an exact match of this or that? Just let the best person do the job and be done with it. Just don't cast people to push agendas. Yeah, you make a good point there. And I think I just made a pretty decent point too in the hello. Hey Hinamoto, and yes, your eyes are not deceiving you. I am now bald. I had my hair cut off earlier today, as I do once in a grand while. Usually when it becomes too cumbersome, I just chop it all off. And excuse me a moment, guys. And of course, I do appreciate the likes and the shares. See if we can get some more people in here. Um, so that, hmm. Mike is now aerodynamic. Yeah, another reason why I would really appreciate it if you guys would share the stream so everybody else can get in on hey, Mike's bald look. Ah, yeah. Yep. Okay, so let's get back to the article then. Um, okay. Oscar Isaac is in talks to play Moon Knight, and all of a sudden people have a problem. Latinos can't have a Latinos can't have a GD thing, he asserted. Yeah. Again, I don't know what that has to do with it either, but I don't know what that last comment really has to do with anything. But anyways, so At Randy S0725 welcomed the announcement while also voicing his hope that cast and crew for Moon Knight are mindful of and respectful toward an authentic portrayal of Mark Spector's Jewish heritage. And again, one of the points I made just a few minutes ago in regards to that is that, I could see why some people would be upset about this if his Jewish heritage was a major part of his character development. And not that again that it really matters if the actor portraying the character is Jewish or not, but having a Jewish actor would obviously they'd have a better understanding of how the customs and all that work as opposed to a non-Jewish actor. But again, that's the only thing I'd have to say about that. One user, the Ninja Shy Guy, shared their opinion as a Jewish individual and said, I don't care about them casting a Jew to play Moon Knight as much as I do them representing the culture and religion in a good way. Okay, that's okay. That's very interesting. I'm not laughing at the comment. I get and agree with the comment. I was just saying. Okay, so the ninja shy guy it would imply is a guy, but picture name looked more like a girl. So again, not that it really should matter, but anyways, what do you make of Isaac's casting as Moon Knight? Do you think it will have an effect on the character when he makes his leap to Disney Plus? Okay, so you guys have anything more to add to that in terms of what they were saying about it? Yeah, we already read that comment. Evening, Hinamoto Nanta Matai Matai Ikambokum. Close enough, Dave. I guess Oscar is Latin. Dude's a chameleon. Didn't even recognize him in Ex Machina. My late husband loved Moon Knight. I hope this is made well. I will be tuning in to see how it goes. Well, good to hear, Hinamoto. You know, um, I'm glad at least it gave you something to look forward to. So that's the first of four articles I'll be going through tonight. Already at the 45-minute mark. And again, thank you guys for joining me for all this. Um, let's see now. So now let's see. Get ready to move on to the next story here. All right, why did I even do that? I didn't even need to do that because we're basically staying in the same general area here. Actually, the only thing I really need to do here is this. So here's the next story we're going to look at here. I think just more or less kind of a preview thing. Titans, Titans. First look at Kieran Walters as Red Hood is here. Season 3 of Titans is in production, and the first photo of Kieran Walters, who plays Jason Todd Robin, as the Red Hood, has been released. And here, I guess, is a picture of him as Robin. The DC Universe original turned HBO Max exclusives official Twitter posted a photo of Walters in costume as the Hood, side by side with concept art of the suit designed by super suit designer Laura Jean Shannon. And here's the tweet at DC Titans. Welcome to the Hood. Jason Todd returns as the Red Hood in season 3 of Titans. Seasons 1 and 2 stream November 1st on HBO Max, US pound. Oh, okay. So he so here's the artwork there. And while you guys are of course taking a look at that, I'm gonna go off camera here for a moment again. Sorry. Okay, all right, so as we continue on with the article now, have a look at Shannon's design and the artwork in full. So here's the concept art right here. Jason Todd as the Red Hood. A photo of Walter suited up was taken by Titan's cinematographer Boris Majowski. Um, Walters lives up to his new code name as he wears a literal red hood, um, something you don't see very often on the Joker's former pill-headed Mater D getup. Yeah, he didn't. Yeah, the hood was usually implied to be his mask. He's actually wearing a hood over the mask. So Shannon has been the costume designer for numerous DC and Marvel productions and the films of Jon Favreau. In addition to Titans, she also works on Stargirl. Titans Season 3 will explore Jason Todd's transformation into Red Hood. He won't have to die, as far as we know, but he is being set up as the first half of the season's big bad, according to reports. How that works and how far he will go is a mystery. All we can say is Jason had a falling out with the team at the end of last season. This season promises to be full of surprises. Casting is underway for Barbara Gordon and Tim Drake, who might be reimagined as oh, here we go. Uh as Asian. Um oh boy, here we go again. Yes, let's reimagine it so we can push an agenda, right? Oh boy. Donna Troy, Connor Leslie, I guess Connor Leslie is the actress playing Donna Troy, is being brought back to life. Um, COVID restrictions may decide how and when that happens in the narrative. Corey Anders, aka Starfire, Anna Diop, um, will have to deal with her nefarious and ambitious sister Blackfire in the other villain building subplot. That threat will be saved for the back half of the season. Red Hood and Blackfire. That'd be an interesting duo to have to fight. No, I remember the Teen Titans cartoons from like the 2000s here. Um, you had like, and of course they played up the whole Starfire and Robin romance. But wouldn't it be funny if you saw like the Starfire Robin romance up against a possible Blackfire Red Hood romance? Wouldn't that be an interesting twist to look forward to? Just saying. Um, Titan season 3 premieres next year, but the show's debut on HBO Max comes next month, when the first two seasons get added to the library starting November 1st. Okay, that sounds pretty interesting. Let's see if you guys have had anything to say about that. Just putting this out there, I'm not sure Bruce Wayne Batman is a good adoptive father figure. Great guy, great hero, terrible dad. Uh, Again, it depends upon which depiction, though, there, Dave, because I'll put it this way, and I know you haven't had a chance to watch some of my coverage of some of the classic stuff, like what we've been doing the last couple weeks on like Friday nights, but like the Golden Age Bruce Wayne is different from the Silver Age Bruce Wayne. They're both different from like the modern or post crisis Bruce Wayne. The three characters and how they're portrayed, Bruce Wayne, how he's been portrayed throughout ever since he debuted back on March 30th, 1939, or yeah, 1939 in Detective Comics 27. He's been depicted in many different ways. Some some ways darker than others. So it depends upon which Bruce Wayne you're talking about. Because, like, for example, his golden age depiction is what led in the latter half of the golden age is what or latter part of the golden age is what gave us the Comics Code Authority when they had made the suggestion when Dr. Frederick Werthern in his book Seduction of Innocence had made the suggestion that Bruce and Dick were involved in a homosexual affair. So just putting that out there for you. Let's see what you have to say here. I don't mind if they make Dick Tim Drake Asian. I will mind if they contrive some situation for people to be overtly racist to him because he's Asian. It's nigh impossible to find someone making a okay. Don't fully understand what if you were trying to say ass there or something like that in a very cute way. But anyways, so getting ready to move on to the next article here. Here's a little bit of anime news. New teaser trailer and imagery for Netflix anime series Godzilla Singular Point shows off monsters and main characters. Here we go. A teaser trailer and extra visuals for the upcoming anime series starring the one and only King of the Monsters, Godzilla. Singular point gives us our best look yet at what Netflix, Studio Bones, and Studio Orange have in store. NX, Netflix's home of all things geek, as their Twitter puts it, shared the teaser and a brief synopsis tagging Toho and Orange in their tweet. The synopsis goes like this: when danger comes up from the depths, only young geniuses, Mei Yoon and their team, can face the threat in Godzilla Singular Point. Take a first look at next year's new series featuring the classic monster. And my attempt at the whole big movie announcer bit. Ah, yes, yes, the ambiguously gay duo. I remember. Yeah, I guess that's in reference to my Batman comment there. Um, yeah, that was one. Now granted, going back to the Comics Code Authority for a moment, their primary focus was more the violence and gore of the crime and horror comics, but of the time period. But superheroes were not spared his wrath, as it were, as we talked about before. So, anyways, back to this then. A Netflix original anime series, and here's I guess some of the artwork from that. Singular Godzilla Singular Point, Netflix 2021. In one of the new images released and the trailer, May can be seen facing a laptop with a picture of a T Rex behind her, implying she has a fascination with dinosaurs. Kind of looks cute. Little glasses thing going there. Um, it could be nothing, or maybe a sly reference to the Godzillasaurus from Godzilla versus King Ghidorah, but has a chance of coming into play within the story. The next released image shows what every fan wants to see: Godzilla charging up his breath, and it looks like it will be as blue as in the Showa period and the Monsterverse. Interesting graphics there. Godzilla is clouded in a silhouette by a red mist or dust that either is emanating from or infecting all the monsters. Some speculate the mist is man made and manufactured to drive the kaijus crazy. The strange beasts are either emitting or bathing in the red stuff in the trailer, meaning there is a mystery Yoon and May um, could be tasked with unveiling that the creatures are a part of. A freeze frame of the former seems to indicate he is looking up at a monster, probably Godzilla, so he'd be on the case or a victim in some way of their destruction. Look at the expression right there. kind of grim. Expression looks kind of grim there, like maybe with some curiousness there. We're down to four people. I guess we lost somebody. Oh, that's sucked. Hope they return. Godzilla Singular Point premieres in Japan in April. It will go international later in 2021. Before that, more updates are likely to come out of G Fest 2020, which is online this year like so many other conventions. The event will be held on November 3rd, Election Day in the States, so make sure you voted early or send in your ballots, kaiju fans. That's coming up in a little under a week there. The anime series is made possible by a crack team of Japanese creatives who are the best of the best in the field. It is directed by Atsushi Takahashi, Blue Exorcist, written by sci-fi author To Enjoy, and scored by Kon Sawada, Grave of the Fireflies. Character designs by Kazue Kato of Blue Exorcist, with monster designs by Studio Ghibli's Eiji Yamamori, Howl's Moving Castle. Oh, there you go. There's the third of the four stories that we're covering tonight. Wow, people are dropping like flies here. Down to three. Where is everybody going? Oh, actually, on YouTube it still says four. Oh, we're back up to four. Goody, yay! Back up to four. Uh, so any you guys want to say thus far on this, or maybe you guys are just past the hour mark here? Okay. Sorry, left for a sec to watch the news. Well, hopefully things have calmed down since the last couple of days. I know there was riots in Philly on Monday night, I think, and then there was, and of course, out here in LA, we had quite a bit of a celebration, or here in Southern California, we had a bit of a celebration for the Dodgers winning the World Series. So, um, always had a soft spot for kaiju's, introduced to them by my father when I was a kid. Huh. Back up to five people. Yay! Five people. So, anyway, so let's get back. Nothing ever really calms down. Yeah, yeah. The rate things are going, things are not going to calm down for quite a while, unfortunately. But anyways, let's get back to some more distracting news here. Let's get back to one more article here. This one might get your fancy a little bit, guys. In part because she was, of course, cast in the Wonder Woman movie recently too. That I think we covered that article as well a little bit. Rumor: HBO Max wants Gal Gadot for Wonder Girl spinoff of Titans. Let's see if you guys have. Okay, so here we go then. Earlier, we told you about the potential for spin-offs of streaming series Titans. Aside from ones for Red Hood and Teen Titans, Donna Troy, Wonder Girl, might get her own series, and with a very high-profile guest star. Mikey Sutton's latest scoop claims HBO Max is discussing an offshoot, and ATT would like for Gal Gadot to make an appearance. Yes, Wonder Woman herself. Movie. Um, let's see. This would be on a smaller scale than what Marvel is doing with Falcon and Winter Soldier, WandaVision, and Hawkeye on Disney Plus. So think cameos and guest appearances. Still, the corporation feels it would be the perfect way to draw from the power of the cinematic and ATT for all the money they're funneling into HBO Max, and the streaming wars want DC programs that could capitalize on the success of their cinematic counterparts, Sutton writes. He adds they feel a Wonder Girl show would be a way of capturing fans of the Wonder Woman movie franchise. Warner Media is throwing everything they have into HBO Max to compete with Disney, and one would think Netflix. I guess HBO Max and DC Universe here. Connor Leslie, who plays Donna on Titans, would return as expected. They are bringing her back for season 3, and Sutton reveals how it's not via Lazarus Pit or anything interesting. She was taken back to Themyscira to be resuscitated. It is as simple as that. Wonder Girl died by electrocution in the season 2 finale, saving a civilian at a carnival. It was unnecessary. It was unnecessary, improbable, and perfectly preventable. Yeah, I'm kind of wondering because well, oh wait, that's right. They're only immortal if they go off the island, or if they stay on the island rather. The more time they spend off the island, when they go off the island, then they lose their immortality. But so, um, I guess they realized it served no purpose and was a mistake. When she is brought back, is in question. Reportedly, they want to write it in as soon as possible, but may hold off until season three's finale. Titans is already renewed for a fourth season ahead of a wrap on the third. Next season premieres in 2021. The first two start streaming on HBO Max in November. Wonder Woman 1984 is still scheduled for theatrical release at Christmas. So this is a short article then. So that's pretty much the niche news for tonight. So it looks like hey, evening, just got off. I'm heading home. Hey, anonymity. How you doing, man? Hey, Anon. I am passing out. Be excellent to each other. Okay, Dave. Hey, Dave. Thanks for dropping in. Thanks for hanging out with us for a while. I hope you enjoyed the content. I guess we'll see you later. Evening, Hinode. Night, Dave. Night. All right, well, give me a second. I gotta go off screen here for a moment. Wow, to go through those four stories took well, it took about an hour because hour and 5 minutes is the first 10 minutes, of course, waiting for people to come in. But I'm glad you're all here, and I hope you guys are remembering to like and share the stream so we can try to get more people in here. 5 people viewing us now, so that's cool. Let's see. So, what did you guys think of all these stories tonight? Some interesting stuff, huh? That's all from the TV portion of the bounding into comics. So, with some, intermixing some comic stuff in there and stuff like that. Anyways, I'm gonna step away from my computer for a couple minutes. So, why don't you guys talk amongst yourselves? And all right, I'm back. Let's see now. Let's see. Okay. Red Hood outfit looks pretty slick. Yeah, it did look pretty slick there. I'm almost home. Hard to chat unless I'm at a light. Yeah, well, be safe. I don't want you crashing while you're responding. So, be safe. It's okay, Anon. Drive safe. Um, thank you. Yeah. So, actually, there is one other thing that did cross my mind that I did want to. Mike is gonna need to update that profile pic to match the new look. Um, I may just keep the profile pic because I think people will, you know, because basically it's I kind of go all or nothing anyway. It's like and just swapping photos back and forth, you know, um, wouldn't really behoove me all because I'm either like this or the other way. So Nice cut though. Well, thanks, anonymity. Yeah. I just felt it was time. It's like kind of got tired of eating my hair as I was eating my food. So, you know, a little break from the norm. Just about time. Yeah. So, yeah, there was one other thing that I did see too recently. So I know that Funimation did get the license for the Inuyasha spinoff, Yasahime or Yashahime. Personally, granted, this isn't as much to do with Funimation and the issues with them. It's not as much that I am disappointed because for the most part, at least in turn, because I think the other day they did make an announcement of who would be voicing the three characters. This isn't necessarily anything against the characters themselves or even against Funimation. Okay, you got Erica Mendez doing the dub voice of one of the characters who's based out of LA, Kira Buckland and Morgan. So it's like Erica Mendez, Kira Buckland, and Morgan Berry, who are voicing the three main characters of Yashahime. Now, my issue isn't necessarily with, I mean, we've all had issues with Funimation and stuff like that. That's not my issue, though. My issue is more that I would have preferred they use the Ocean Studios dubcast, since it was the Ocean Studios dubcast that dubbed Inuyasha. Keep the and cast in those roles the the voice actors from Ocean. You know, that's my only real take on that. I don't know. I know maybe you guys maybe don't watch as many dubs, but that's the thing I wanted to mention too, is that they did announce the at least the three main characters, the dub roles for the three main characters. The only thing about it that I'm disappointed with is that and it looks like we lost somebody. I hope they come back. Consistency is good. Yeah, yeah. Hinamoto Hinode. That's what I would say is that's what I believe. Consistency is good. I would much prefer, I'd much prefer they bring, obviously these are newer characters and stuff like that, but I would again would have hoped that they would have brought in maybe some of the they would have they would have had Ocean Studios dub this rather than rather than Funimation. But and again, in this case, it's not even having to do with any of the issues we've had with Funimation either. It's just more for the consistency factor. So, anyways, let's see now. Oh, good. We got quite a few likes there, so that's good. And I do appreciate you guys liking and sharing the stream. It does help, with the algorithm, and also hopefully getting more people in here so we can talk more about this stuff. Um, so let's see. Some other like little tidbits here. Just to remind everybody, this Friday I'll have the Knuckleheads on for an interview. So I hope you all will be here and be here on time for that. At 7 p.m. Pacific, 9 Central, 10 Eastern. Um, I'll be talking to them, about Halloween, like maybe the Halloween traditions they grew up with, how they spent their Halloweens growing up, um, as well as maybe what specials they watched growing up. Um, Hope you guys will look forward to that. Just getting home. I'm going to make something to eat. Okay. Um. So let's see now. So, is there anything you guys want to? Anything you guys want to ask me, or anything you guys want to ask me, or well, and you guys do know that I did my latest VA profile. I'll be doing the last one of this series this Sunday, um, the 60th episode of Voices Big and Small. I'll probably be doing a Blue Water voice actress on that one. Um, in that profile. So I hope you guys will. I hope you guys check them out. You guys want to learn more about some dub voice actors. Not all of them. At least the ones I do. I usually try not to focus as much on the KVers, but just trying to get you know interest sparked for those who don't get the attention they deserve. So I'll be doing the 60th and final episode of that this Sunday. So I hope you guys will check that out. And if you haven't checked out any previous Voices Big and Small episodes, I suggest you do, to give yourselves at least some idea of maybe some people's works out there, if you want. Because always remember, guys, if you ever wanted to meet certain voice actors, and I'm not talking about necessarily the KV ones, but if you ever wanted to meet some voice actors, maybe you've heard their work before or whatever, heard the name, you know, the thing to do is get them invited to your local cons, and then you can meet them there. So I would put these VA profiles together to help you become more familiar with their works. Um, so I hope you guys will check them out. Check out the profiles, and then go, of course, check out the works that I highlight in there. Maybe you've been asked this, but out of all the comics you read, which is your favorite and what's in your top five? Well, I haven't actually been asked that. Okay, Hinode, um, believe it, I know that's going to be hard to believe or understand, but I actually don't read comics as much, but I do have an interest in comics. Okay. My interest in comics comes more from the fact that I grew up watching Super Friends. If anything, I watched a lot of superhero cartoons growing up. You know, both the DC comic cartoons and the Marvel comic cartoons. So some of the earliest, like probably the earliest Marvel Comics cartoon was a 1966 Marvel superheroes cartoon produced by Grant Way Lawrence Animation. And then actually the earliest DC Comics cartoon was all the way back in the 40s. Fleischer Studios Superman series. Of course, I'd watch a lot. Of course, when I was growing up in the '80s, I grew up more watching like Super Friends and all that, and Spider Man, Amazing Friend. So I actually know more about the cartoons than the comics themselves. But of course, a few years ago, my love of the cartoons translated me to wanting to learn more about the comics. So I'd of course go and find some sites, some commentary sites, some there's this one that you guys see all the time that I use that provides a synopsis for a lot of the comics. Mike's Amazing World of DC Comics, and granted, that is not my site, mind you. Okay, that's somebody else's site, but I found his DC version. This guy's also got versions of Marvel, Charlton, Gold Key. He's got whatever comic book publisher, or at least the major ones. Yeah, I think he's got like one for Dark Horse, one for IDW, for Dell, but I used to watch Batman animated series with kids. Yeah, I saw that too. That was a good series. That was that was a good series. I liked a lot of a lot of the DCAU stuff, which started with Batman the animated series with Kevin Conroy in '92. Followed that up with, of course, Superman the animated series, and even Zeta Project and Static Shock were also part of that universe. Now, Static, of course, was brought in from I think the Static series was part of the Vertigo imprint, I believe. Um, those were good series, and then of course the eventual Justice League Unlimited, Teen Titans cartoons of the 2000s were also um, part of that. But obviously, I have a love for the DC stuff, and granted, as I said, I haven't actually read. I've read synopses more. I mean, I've gone back and read some comics, but and there's a part of me that would like to read more of those comics. I probably will at some point. More of the older comics, maybe up through Infinite Crisis. Um, don't know if I'll go beyond Infinite Crisis, or maybe I'll try to get to Final Crisis, depending upon how much in between Infinite and Final Crisis, if there's any. Well, basically, I would like to become as familiar with as many of the DC multiverses as possible, because there's that part of me that if Axis came along and opened up a portal, and I had the chance to go through and hang, go into the DCU and hang out with Batman and Superman, I'd want to do that. Just not the woke universe that we're seeing now. More the classic stuff. You know, but I haven't. Again, I haven't read as many comics. I've read some, but a lot of stuff I've read, it tends to be a lot older. Just tracking stuff down on certain sites. So, but I at least read the synopses. So, and I'd say of all the universe, DC's probably my favorite universe. I like a lot of their characters. You know, like Superman, Batman. You know, So, anyways, I know that's probably not as good an answer. Maybe it's not an answer as strong an answer you were hoping for, but my husband was into Marvel more, so I learned a bit from him. He would not be happy with all this woke BS pushed into things now. Yeah, I think a lot of those of us who are older, those of us who, whether you read the comics or you watched the cartoons of like the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, I think a lot of us would not be overly thrilled with what they're doing with Hinode. I definitely know that Yellow Flash, and Tug are not happy with the woke stuff. So the woke stuff sold character development and story progression for fake diversity. Yeah, forced diversity is forcing anything is a bad idea. Forcing anything, including diversity, is a bad idea. Their anonymity. Um, yeah, so we're now at an hour 35. So, um, yeah, so let's see how much more of this conversation. Preach, Anon. So, and So Hinode Hinansho. We just simply started calling her Hinamoto because that's probably. But I think if I'm pronouncing it correctly, I guess it's Hinode Hinansho. Um, hmm. I guess there's three of us now. Um, well, unless there's anything else you guys want to ask or anything like that, I think I'll start wrapping this down. I wonder if you guys are ready for this day in niche history. Oh, actually, there were a couple more comments here that I almost. Hinamoto is fine though. I like it. Okay, it's fine. Elbow cough. I'm just, and maybe it's because of the autism, but I'm just more I'm just more picky about making sure I pronounce a person's. Of course, woot! I am ready. Okay, it's time. Okay, so yeah, so I think I'm going to get into this day in each history then. Today being Wednesday, October 28th. We're like 3 days away from Halloween, but of course, nobody should be trick or treating because of COVID. But we will, as I said, be having a nice special on Friday with the Knuckleheads. I know that they're going to have a special on their channel as well the following afternoon. Um, so with all that being said, today being October 28th, 2020, let's take a look back at this day in niche history. Let's what happened in the world of anime, cartoons, comics, manga, and pro wrestling. So first off, we're going to take a trip here back to 1950, 70 years ago today. Let's see. Um, you're autistic too? Wow, something we have in common. Yes, I was initially as a child diagnosed as having mild autism. Then in my adulthood, it was diagnosed as Asperger's syndrome, and then it's now back to autism. So yes, I'm on the spectrum. I guess based on your comment there, you're on the spectrum too, there, Hinode. And I hope you don't mind. I may still call you Hinode. Um, so let's get to this. So on this date, 70 years ago, back in 1950, the Warner Brothers produced animated short Pop Unpop, or Pop and Pop, um, would make its debut on this date, 1950, directed by Robert McKimson, starring Sylvester the Cat, Hippity Hopper, and Sylvester Jr. This was, of course, Sylvester Jr.'s debut appearance. Um, this is, you can see kind of the still right there, picture right there. But on this date, 70 years ago, Pop and Pop would make its debut, the Warner Brothers short. That would feature Sylvester trying to pick a fight with what he believed to be a giant mouse, which was actually more like a baby kangaroo. Um, Hippity Hopper, who was the son, of course, of Gracie the fighting kangaroo. So on this date, 70 years ago, Pop and Pop would make its debut in theaters. Yep. Okay. So with that being said, So now that we've talked about that a little bit, let's move on to the next piece of history. And actually, we've only got three things tonight, as it were. So we're gonna moving ahead here to 1980, which was 30 years ago. Which was 30 years. Let's see, was 30 years from our previous destination and 40 years back, 40 years ago today. So on this date, 40 years ago, the 50th issue, or as they put on the comic here, the 50th fantastic issue Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man would go on sale on this date in 1980, which was 40 years ago, which was, I'm sorry, 40 years ago today. So 40 years ago today, um, the 50th fantastic issue of Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man would go on newsstands on this date 40 years ago today with Dennis O'Neil as the editor, Frank Miller doing the penciling for the cover, and the stories of Dilemma and Killer. Let's see, Dilemma and a Killer Elite, being both written by Roger Stern, um, would go on this date. Of course, 40 years ago today. So on this date, 40 years ago today, the 50th fantastic issue of Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man, would make its debut on newsstands. Or after and each time, did anyone see the travesty of a remake of Animaniacs? No, I haven't. I was afraid to check out something else from my childhood or teenage years ruined. So you grew up in the 90s, then I take it, Hinode. That would most likely, I guess, make you probably somewhere in your 30s, then I would think, right? It hurt, Hinode. Okay, so anyways, moving on to the next thing. And what I will say is this. For tonight, 1980 is just so nice that we're going to hit it twice. Because for the professional wrestling fans in here, I would actually like to wish a happy birthday to Christy Hemme, American model and former professional wrestler. Christy Hemme turns 40 today. I'd like to wish her a happy 40th birthday. The 2004 winner of the Diva Search. Of course, her professional wrestling career started in 2004, and she retired as a professional wrestler in 2009. She had, of course, spend much of that spend the first few years there with spend the first year with the WWE, and then move on to total TNA wrestling before retiring in 2009 from at least in ring competition. So I think after 2009, she focused more on being a interviewer, backstage interviewer, and stuff like that. Anyway, well, we're back up to four people now, albeit we're almost done here. Um, so that's basically it. I wasn't able to find anything anime related really for tonight. So, but 90s kid for sure. Yep. And yeah, I was already in my 20s in the 90s, but even I was still watching cartoons at that point. So I'm proud to say there was some good stuff from there, including the DC stuff like the DCAU, Animaniac, Um, Pinky and the Brain, Gargoyles. There's a lot of cool stuff from that time period. Pokemon debuted. Well, of course, some of the animes that came out in the 90s included like Pokemon, um, Sailor Moon, Yu Yu Hakusho. Even though we here in the States, I don't think got to start seeing Yu Yu Hakusho until 2000s, but it was actually originally made in Japan, I believe, in 92. So, anyways, guys, I'm glad you all joined me tonight. I appreciate the likes and the shares. Um, if you can, let's see if we can do a mic raid on, either Nick or Crows of Judgment streams. So, and until tomorrow night, I hope to see you guys back here tomorrow night. And I shall bid you adieu. Bye.